Well, we're sort of down to our final piece. Piece of garment, anyway. So, do you want to see me make shorts for myself? Keep watching. Okay, well, as I said in the opening, this is all about shorts. I have not owned a pair of shorts for many decades, and I've actually surprised myself that I'm going to be making shorts here. But shorts is going to be like a gateway to pants for me, so I'm going to actually, when I have the fit of these down, I am going to actually be using these particular shorts as my block to make pants. So there's that. Anyway, yeah, and any capsule wardrobe, for the summer or vacation, needs shorts. You need several pairs sometimes. But yeah, I'm gonna show you how using the Haslam system of design, dress cutting, sorry, how to make a pair of shorts. And it is going to be in book 23 that you're going to need if you're doing the ones that I'm doing. There are quite a few pairs of shorts actually in the 1950s Haslam books. So also the lingerie books from Haslam, a bunch of them have like tap pants or like pajama bottom shorts. You can also use those if you want to make a pair of shorts. Excuse my voice. If you want to make a pair of shorts that have an elastic waist. These do not. These are going to be side button up, or you could do a side zip. I'm probably going to do a side zip. But those are also a really good option for shorts because it would be even less work. You're not doing a zipper, right? But I am doing the one with the zipper. So book 21, figure 14 is what I'm doing. But there are other shorts in the other books, so feel free to do any of those. You don't have to do the ones I'm doing. So, yeah, and one of the reasons that I have not made shorts and that I don't wear shorts, but I'm going to make myself wear shorts because I need to get over it. I have cellulite. I have fat deposits on my legs. I have spider veins on my legs. I am trying to be more positive about my body and be more open to other people seeing it. Also, I am very untanned, so my legs are going to be very bright. But anyway, I guess that's what the tie front wrap skirt's for, right? But yeah, so if I can make shorts, you can make shorts. So let's get to that tutorial. Who is ready to make shorts? I know I am. Gateway to pants. So as with every video, I'm just going to start out quickly with what we need. So you're going to need pencil and eraser. You're going to need, of course, paper to draw on, either depending on what you're doing, either for the master copy or for the pattern piece. I always make a master because if I want to make any changes to the pattern at some point, I have a base to work from. And if you're going to be doing a separate pattern piece, some sort of tracing paper or tissue paper, paper scissors, tape in case you need to tape the tissues and stuff together. I think in this case, my tissue should be big enough. These aren't going to be huge pattern pieces. Another reason this is a gateway into pants is if you can get the shorts to fit you, you literally just have to lengthen the leg to whatever style of pants you're making. You're going to need a measuring tape as well, but I'm going to come to that momentarily. Sharpies, if you're going to trace over everything afterwards. I am. As I finish a line and I know it's not going to change, I'm going to draw it out with the black Sharpie just so you can see it easier. From book 23, we're using pattern 14, or sorry, figure 14, which is a combination actually of the tie front skirt, which is on a previous video, and the sleeveless blouse. I'm going to pop up a close-up right now of these beautiful illustrations. Let me know if you want me to do the sleeveless top as well, and then we have a full set. And then the pattern piece measurements and stuff, I'm going to just pop that up as well right now. And these are both going to be in the Patreon blog post that I do for each of these videos. There's also additional information in there and all the information that I'm giving you right now. So the reason we need, oh sorry, and you're going to need your front and back template ruler thing. You don't need your foundation slopers for this, because you're using a combination of your waist and your hip measurements for this, which is the reason why we need a measuring tape. So there are 4 specific measurements that this pattern calls for. However, I'm adding 3 additional measurements because pants tend to be a lot harder to fit than other garments. And the 3 additional measurements I'm going to give you are going to come in handy for you when you're doing fitting. So you're going to need a quarter of your waist plus 2.5 inches, quarter of your hip plus 1/2 inch, then 5.5 inches wider than hip line is the next measurement, and then 1 inch less than above, meaning 1 inch less than the hip line, or than the 5.5 plus the hip line. The 3 additional measurements I'm doing, now if this pattern piece fits you out of the box, beautiful. However, I am 5'8", I am short-waisted, I have an hourglass figure, I have a bum and belly, so because of that, fitting of pants is an issue for me. So I'm also doing a crotch length measurement, a crotch depth measurement, and how far down the leg I actually want. Now for this exercise, for instance, this side line, you're going to make an upside down L here. The right hand side line that you're creating is 18 inches. It says 18 inches required length on the pattern piece. For this video, I'm going to stick with 18 inches, and then once I've done my tissue pattern piece, I'll do a tissue fit, and that'll let me know how much longer I need to make it. And for the crotch length, you're going to take a measuring tape and you're going to place it at your front waist. You're going to run the tape between your legs and end at your back waist. Do that standing. And then for the crotch depth measurement, I am going to put this illustration, I'm going to put a close-up right now, and I'm also going to have it over in the blog, and it's hand-drawn by me, so, you know, laugh at it if you want. To do the crotch depth measurement, you're going to be seated on a hard chair surface. Don't sit on a cushion to do this. And you're measuring down the side of your leg, and you're measuring from the waist to the top of the chair. So those measurements will help you later when you're doing fitting. Now that you know what supplies you need, we're going to begin with the front. So you're going to need your front measuring tool. Now, to speed things along a bit, I've actually already sort of etched out the pattern already. I know a couple of the tutorials were very, very long, and hopefully I can get this one to go a little faster. Okay, so as with the skirt, the tie front skirt, we did a upside down L. I think it's upside down and flipped, basically. So that'll be your starting point. And the top line, the horizontal line, will be a quarter of your waist measurement plus 2.5 inches. In my case, it's 12.5 inches. And then the vertical line on the L is going to be 18 inches. Now, according to the pattern, it says 18 inches or required length. And in my case, I'm going to do 18 for the master. And then if I decide to lengthen it, which I most likely am going to lengthen this because this is going to be too short. I want it to come down further on my thigh. I think currently this would be a little bit above mid-thigh for me, and I want it to be closer to my knee than my actual mid-thigh. So I am going to have to shift the paper around a bit because my table is not wide enough. Eventually I'll have a bigger drafting table or table to work from, but for now this is working. Now the first measurement we're going to do is we're going to start in the, let me just move this piece of paper out of the way for a moment. We're going to be starting in the top right hand corner. And the first measurement you're going to do is from the top right hand corner, you're going to come down 1 inch using your template, and you're going to put a mark. And then from that mark, you're going to come in, what is it here? 1 inch. Now, I'm just going to backtrack slightly. I notice on the illustration that this 1 inch is on a bit of that you're coming in is on a bit of an angle. So for the back of the shorts, the waistline angling is different. It's higher. So what I recommend you do, you don't have to, but I do recommend that you draw the angled line that is going to be in the back pattern piece, just to make sure that you're drawing this line on the right angle, because it does actually make a difference. So the line is from where you came down 1 inch up to the top left hand corner. So just, you can lightly draw that line. You don't have to do a super dark line. Just, you know, do something light. Oops, do something light so that you have it as a reference. And then come in that 1 inch. So actually, I think I said this one wrong. So you're coming down 1 1/4 inches, and then you're going to come in 1 inch, and that's going to be your new right hand corner. Now, the other thing I suggest you do right now, it's going to help you line up for the next step, is from the old top right hand corner, measure down 7 inches and place a mark, because this is where your hip line is going to go. And then I personally drew my hip line in because it's a straight line across. And your hip line is going to be 1/4 of your hip measurements plus 1/2 inch. And in my case, it's 14.5 inches. So I do highly recommend you just draw this in now. And then once you've drawn that line, your next step is going to be to draw, and once I have completed lines, I'm going to fill them in with Sharpie so that you can see things better. And after I finish this line here, this particular line, I am actually going to go ahead and put a Sharpie. So for this next thing, which is a curve, you're going to be using, funny enough, and if you've watched the tie front skirts video, you'll notice that you're going to need your back ruler because we're going to be using corner 4 to create that slight curve. So what you're going to do next is you're going to take your ruler, and you're going to place corner 4 in that new right-hand corner that you've made. And then you're going to line it up. The blue line is going to line up with the old right-hand line that you drew. And then you're going to, oops, stop moving, and then you're going to draw a line. So let me just do those 2 lines in Sharpie because they're not going to change. And if you're doing a master pattern, I highly recommend that you do the same. Just because when you go to draw the pattern out with your tissue or your, you know, if you're using tissue paper, if you're using tracing paper or some sort of see-through paper, I think people use parchment paper sometimes. It just helps you see through better. Okay, so those 2 lines should be showing up better for you. And then continuing down the front of the shorts, just so that we have this side of the shorts complete. The next measurement you're going to do is from the bottom right-hand corner. Oh, I'm going to push this up a bit because you probably can't see it. From the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to come out 1/2 inch. And then from the hip line, you're going to draw a straight line down to the mark. And actually, I'm just going to use Sharpie for this part because that line's not going to change. Okay, and so the next line down that you're going to draw is below the hip line. And it is going to be 5.5 inches wider. This is going to be 5.5 inches wider than your hip line. In my case, that came out to 20. Now, the illustration does not tell you how far to come down. However, I just did some math. So the full length that they have in the instructions was 18 inches as your base. If you've gone longer than that, you'll have to take that into consideration. The inside leg here, they're saying is supposed to be 4.5 inches. Again, that's if you do the 18 inches. And from the hip line to the waist was 7.5 inches. So I added the 7 inches and the 4.5 inches together, and then I just subtracted it from 18 inches. So that let me know how far down to come to draw this next line. And in my case it was, how far down was that? I'm just making sure everything's lined up, 6.5 inches. And I needed to draw that line to be 20 inches. And for the front of the shorts, you're not going to use the full distance of the 20 inches. I'll show you, you'll see in a minute why. But for when you do the back of the shorts, you are definitely going to be using that full measurement. Oops, get my finger out of the way. Where are you there? Oops. But yeah, when you go to do the back of the shorts, you're gonna understand in a minute here on the front of the shorts. So that's 20 inches, and because you've already drawn this line all the way down, I suggest you do the next, the bottom line, the bottom of the shorts now as well. And that measurement is 1 inch less above, so 1 inch less this 20-inch line that we just did. 20 inches in my case, yours will be different, which means this is going to be 19 inches. So I highly recommend you draw that line out now, because it will save you some confusion when we get to the next steps. And again, in the front pattern piece, you're not going to use the full width, but you will in the back. Okay, so that is the front done. The waist and the front have been fully filled in with Sharpie. Let's go. So the next to go is the top left-hand corner. Okay, so we're going to be at the top left-hand corner now. Now I know I just filled in the waistline with Sharpie. There's a reason I ended here, and I'll explain that to you right now. I should have done that earlier. So for the front waistline, we're going to, and this is how we got this angle because it is slightly on an angle. You're going to, from the top left-hand corner, you're going to come down 1.5 inches, and you're going to come in 1 inch. So that is why the waistline ends over here. So I'll say that again. You're going to come down 1.5 inches and in 1 inch. Put a dot, and then you're going to draw your waistline from there to there. The front, so on the pattern piece, which might be confusing, it does show a dart. However, it does note dart in back only. I know that not everyone, because I am guilty of this myself, will look at all the little notes on the illustration and might put a dart in the front piece. There is no dart in the front pattern piece, so do not put a dart. Okay, so now that we have our waistline, we're going to now, and this is why I told you to put the hip line in. We're now going to go from, we're going to be drawing this line here is what I'm trying to say. But before we do that, we need to know where the end point is. So the next measurement we're going to be making to get that point is we're going to be coming in from the end of this hip line that we drew. We're going to be coming in 1 inch. So measure in 1 inch. Okay, and make a mark. And then you're going to draw a straight line from the left side of the waistline down to this dot you just created. There's no curve for this, it's just a straight line. Okay. Now for the back, or sorry, for the, no, well, it's the back of the shorts, but I mean, for, there's going to be a curved line here. And for that, we need to use, I think we need to use the back again. Nope, sorry, we do use the front. So we use the front template for this. No, I'm wrong. We use the back template for this. Because we need to use the arrow, the E arrow. And that is on the back template. So we're going to be using that to create the curve. To do that, we're going to put, and again, this is another reason that we have drawn the next line. So in order to know where to put the E, we're now going to measure in from the end of that line. You're going to measure in 3.5 inches. Okay, so that is on the line below the hip line. In my case, it was 20 inches long. Yours is going to be different. So that line, you're going to measure in 3.5 inches and make a mark. Then you're going to take your back template. You're going to line up E, where you just put that dot, and you're going to line up the blue to match where the hip line ends. The new hip line mark, not the old one, the new one. At the bottom of that straight line you just drew. And then you're going to draw a small curve. Now remember, this is the front piece, so the crotch curve is shorter than the back curve because your front is flatter than your back in most cases. Okay, and then I'm just going to move this up so you can see it. The next mark you're going to make is that bottom line of your shorts that you just drew. From the far left-hand corner, you're going to measure in 3.5 inches. Somewhere around there, but let me just gonna measure in 3.5 inches. And then from where you ended that small curve, you're now going to draw a straight line from there down to that new mark you just made. And now at this point you can draw a final line there if you want. So I'm just going to quickly go over this with you, and then as I'm doing that I'll fill in with Sharpie. So you're going to draw the upside down reversed L. Then from the top right hand corner you're going to come down 1.25 inches. And then draw a line on a diagonal from that mark up to the top left hand corner. Oh, and the upside down L is quarter your waist plus 2.5 inches for the horizontal line, and the vertical line is 18 inches. or the length that you want. So yeah, you're going to draw that diagonal, and then you're going to come in 1 inch on that slight angle, and you're going to put a mark. And then you're going to come down 7 inches, put a mark, and draw your hip line. And the hip line is quarter your hip plus 1/2 inch. And then you're going to, at the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to go out 1/2 inch. And then from the hip line down to that, you're going to draw, to that new mark, you're going to draw a straight line. Then you're going to come up to your left-hand corner, and you're going to come down 1.5 inches. And you're going to come in from that 1 inch. And you're going to put a mark, and you're going to draw your waistline. So now you have the waistline and the front of the shorts. Then you're going to go to your hip line. And from the left hand side of that hip line, you're going to come in 1 inch. And you're going to draw a line from the top new left hand corner down to that mark. And then you're going to go down to the line below the hip line. And you're going to come in 3.5 inches. And with the back template, you're going to use E arrow to draw that curve. And for the front here, just as a reminder, you're still using the back, and you would have been using the, where is it? Corner 4 to draw that curve. Sorry, I should have repeated that when I was over there. So back to this side, you're going to go to the bottom line of the shorts. You're going to go the furthest left-hand corner. You're going to come in 3.5 inches and put a mark. And then from where you use the E arrow, draw a straight line down. Just quickly fill this in. So that is the front of your shorts. And as I just said, you're going to notice that the crotch curve is going to be not as deep as the back curve, and that is because your front is flatter than your back. In most cases, I mean, I have a belly, but you know, even then, my belly, my backside has more of a curve, way more of a curve. Again, that's my case. Everyone else is different. Some people have less of a bum. Some people have more of a bum. Some people have no belly. Some people have larger belly. Everyone is built differently. So even though this system is meant to work with your body measurements, you are still going to have to do a little bit of tweaking. I mean, I know I'm going to, because as I mentioned at the beginning, I have to compensate for my low waist. So I can already tell right now from the measurements that I took that, so my crotch depth, which is going to be kind of from the this place here up, is 17 inches, and that's not 17 inches. So that is 12.5 inches. So that's like short by 4.5 inches, right? So, but before I make any changes to my pattern piece, I'm still going to use this as my master. But before I do any changes to my pattern piece, I am going to still do a initial toile. because I do need to figure out the fit, I need to figure out the length, and I need to see if I'm going to have to do a full 17 inches as my crotch depth. Okay, so that is the front. Make sure you mark on your master what this is. So it is front of shorts. This is book 23, figure 14. I'm just going to put Haslam. I keep all my Haslam stuff in one place, but just in case. Bear with me, and I will get the paper ready for the back piece. We're now on to the back pattern piece. You're going to be using the back template, hopefully, I think for the whole thing actually, and same measurements go. Waist is going to be quarter your waist plus 2.5 inches. The hip line is going to be quarter hip plus 1/2 inch. The next measurement down is going to be 5.5 inches wider than your hip line, and then the last measurement is going to be 1 inch less the measurement above. The two differences from the front pattern piece are you're going to be putting a dart in this one, and the back crotch depth or crotch area is going to be deeper. So, and as with the front piece, I already sketched it out because it just makes things go a little faster, I think. If it didn't, I apologize. Okay, so where's my, there we are. So we're gonna start again, top right hand corner. So for the top right hand corner, for the back, you're gonna come down, you're still gonna come down 1 1/4 inch. And you're gonna make a mark. And from there, you're going to draw that angled line that we did for the front piece. So from that mark you just made all the way up to the top left-hand corner, draw a line. Then, once you've drawn that line, you're going to come in 1 inch. And just like the front piece, you're still going to do a corner. So, or like a curve, a slight curve. So, and we're going to be using corner 4 again, corner 4 again. And just like the front piece, we're going to line that up. The blue line's going to touch the horizontal line. And you're going to draw that curve. Also, you should also do, now we're going to do this now. Let's do our hip line and the next 2 lines, just so you have them for reference. So for the hip line, you're coming down 7 inches. And you're going to draw your hip line. Which in my case was 14.5 inches. Yours is going to be a different measurement. Or the same. I don't know. Who knows? Then the next line down was the same as the front. I did that math. I added the 7 inches to the 4.5 inches. Or you can just come up 4.5 inches from the bottom. It's up to you. Whatever's easier. But for me, for accuracy, I added those two together and subtracted from 18 to get this width, which I think was 6.5. But also you can come from the bottom up 4.5 inches. It's up to you. I checked my measurements a few different times to make sure that it made sense. So, as my father used to say, measure twice, cut once. So then the next line we're going to draw is the one below the hip line, and that one was the 5.5 inches plus the hip line. Mine came out to 20. Draw that line. And in this case, you're going to use that full 20. And then the bottom line, let's move this up. Hopefully you saw me draw that top line. If not, it was the line below the hip line. Hopefully you saw that. I think you did. Let me just check. Yeah, I think you would have seen that. Okay. And then the bottom of which is going to become the bottom of your shorts, you're going to draw, in my case it was 19 inches over, and then draw a straight line. Unfortunately, this template ruler only goes to 17 inches, so you're going to have to continue measuring. It's up to you if you want to get a longer, if you have like a measuring tape or a ruler or a yardstick or whatever, meter stick, whatever it's called. Okay, so now we have those 3 lines. So these are going to help you when you're doing the rest of the measurements. So we did the corner 4 already. Sorry, just going to shift this back down again. I wish we had a bigger space here for me to work, because I could have a bigger table. I'm going to have to shift things around so much, so I think you can see that. Okay, all right. So we've done this front curve, and then what you're going to do, actually you don't even have to do anything at this point, because the line from here down to the bottom right hand corner does not change at all. So because that's not changing, I'm going to draw this in just so you can see it. And then you can sort of see what's going on. And you'll notice that your back pattern piece is going to be slightly bigger than your front pattern piece. Again, it has to do with the shape of your body. Okay. Yes, okay. So next we're going to work on the waist. And in this case, I'm going to start from the top left-hand corner. It's probably easier because we're going to do our dart next. And the reason I'm doing that is because the right-hand side of the dart will go above what that diagonal line we drew. So you're going to come in from the top left-hand corner. You're going to come in on that diagonal line. You're going to come in 3.5 inches and make a dot. Okay, and then you're going to come in 1.25 inches. Where are we here? And make a dot. Now, before we can finish the dart line, as I said, the right side is going to be raised a little bit. And you're raising that up 1/4 inch. So from the dot you just made, measure up 1/4 inch. And then what you're going to do is from that new dot that you just made, you're going to draw a line to the right hand corner of the waist. And what's going to happen is when you go to sew up your dart, because the waistline's on an angle, when you put the dart together, it should match up then. These two bits will match up. So you have your two dart lines up here, and again, like the skirt, it doesn't tell you how far down to go to create your dart line. However, it looks like it's a couple inches above the hip line. So what I think, what did I do? End up doing 6 inches, I think. 5 inches. I came down 5 inches. And then it was like 1.5 inches. I think there was about 1.5 inches difference here. So, and then I did a mark. And then I drew my dart. So what I'm going to do is, let me see. I don't think any of that's changing. No. So none of that is changing. So just the waistline is not changing any further. So let me just draw this in so that you can see the dart better. And you know, it's up to you. You can make your dart longer, shorter. Do what's going to work for your body. For myself, I just find that this length of dart line tends to work for me. I also tend to do slightly longer darts in the front of my bodices. I am short-waisted, and I know it kind of sounds like it's not going to work, but because I also am boobalicious, it does work. Okay, so we're going to be back up to the left-hand corner. And we're now going to be drawing a straight line from the top left-hand corner down to the end of the hip line. And before the back, you do not have to do any changes here. These measurements are going to be as is. So let's draw, and does that, that line doesn't change at all, so I'm just going to go ahead and put the Sharpie mark, since that's not changing. Now from this point down to the end of the line below the waist, the hip line, you're now going to draw the curve, and you're going to be using the broad arrow, B-R-O-A-D, on the template. Move that up so hopefully you can see it okay. And I'm going to have to slightly move it because it's banging into my light. Okay, so what you're going to do, the broad arrow, you're going to line it up. Let's move this way a bit. You're going to line it up with the far end, the left-hand side of that line that is below the hip line. And then you're going to line the blue up. Whoops. I'm going to line the blue up with the hip line, where the hip line ends. And again, that doesn't end up changing, so where's my Sharpie? I'm just going to do it in Sharpie. There we go. And similar to the front of the shorts, you're going to draw from the line we just drew, the end of it, a straight line down to the end of the bottom of the shorts line. Yeah, I can move this up so you can see that. So we just did this, finished this curve right here. So there is the fourth measurement that you took. The left side of that, we're going to draw a straight line down. That's not where the line will end though, just FYI. So from that end of that line, we're going to come down 1 inch. And make a mark. And then you're going to continue that line. And this is now where the new bottom of the shorts is going to be. So you're going to draw a line from the left-hand corner, the new left-hand corner that you just created, up to the old, or sorry, up to the bottom right-hand corner from the front of the shorts. Usually I have a longer ruler for moments like this where I need a longer, draw a longer line, but for the sake of the tutorial, I'm still going to use this. And those are all the lines that you have to draw. So I'm just going to fill the last lines in with Sharpie so you can see them. And then I'm just going to quickly review what we just did. And as always, my hands are covered in Sharpie. Okay, there we go. So that is the outline of your back pattern piece. Now again, it suggests 18 inches. You don't have to go, and I was just measuring this, the final measurement's more like 17 inches. Let me just pull the front pattern piece because I think that's going to be about the same. And as I said, I'm going to have to go longer because I have long legs. I'm more legs than anything else. Yeah, that's also 17 inches when you're finished doing all the changes to the original 18 inches. So now, you know, again, 18 or well, in the end, 17 inches might be fine for you. For myself, I'm not going to go with that. I'll be making it longer. So do not forget to put your seam allowances, which I'm going to do off camera. And you see me do it enough that you don't need to see me to do it again. And then what I'm going to do is, before I create the waistband or the cuff, I'm actually going to go ahead and do the toile first and see how the fit is. Just like facings, like do your facings and your waistbands and all that. Do it after you've done the basic fitting, because otherwise you're just going to have to, you're going to be wasting fabric, right? So I'm going to do that after I've done the initial fitting for the base of the shorts pattern. Because I know I'm going to have to make adjustments. Like as I said, I'm going to have to change the crotch length, the crotch depth, and how far down it is going to go on my leg. That's why I took those measurements initially. And I'm going to use like probably the hip line, because when I go to extend up this way, the depth, I'll probably do my cut and spread around the hip line area. And if I have to make it wider, I'll probably pick a line somewhere around the middle if I have to go this way. But to go this way, I'm going to use probably the hip line. But to go this way, I'll have to find a middle ground that works for both pattern pieces. Anyway, so that is how you draft those two pattern pieces. I hope you found this helpful. I didn't repeat the measurements on here because or for the back piece, because they're very close to the front. You're basically doing very similar things. The only difference really is you're adding the dart, and you're not subtracting any of the measurements from the back piece because you're using those full measurements that you took. All right, so as I said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create my add my seam allowance in red as I always do, and then I'm going to cut out my tissue pattern pieces, and then I'm going to cut out my toile fabric, and then I'm going to sew that toile up. So the next clips after this you're going to see are possibly 1 or 2 toiles. I don't know how many it's going to take to get the fitting 100% right for me, for my body. And then you'll see a final sewn garment after that, and then the outro. So happy drafting, and then after that, happy sewing. All right, I'll see you when I talk about the toile. Just popping back in, I realized I did not mention when you're drafting the pattern pieces, these are not cut on the fold, so you're basically going to be cutting 2 of each fabric. So 2 for the front and 2 for the back. So you're going to want to also note that on your pattern piece. Okay, so here's the finished toile. And as I suspected, I am going to have to do fit adjustments. Now, funny enough, the back of the shorts fit me fine. They're high enough, they fit in the crotch, the back crotch is fine, not a problem. And weirdly enough, when I put them on, the inside seam is longer than I thought it was going to be. Like, it went further down my thigh than I thought it was going to be. I'm still going to have to make it longer. However, the issue, which I knew was going to be an issue anyways, is the belly. Because of my belly, it pulls the shorts down. So they end up on this weird curve like that as I'm wearing them, and they fall way below my waist. As a matter of fact, they hit my belly button. So that is not attractive and is not how I want them to look. I want the waistband to sit evenly on my waistband. So I am going to have to do an adjustment here. Probably going to have to do a full belly adjustment. So I'm going to have to adjust my pattern pieces for the front. Before I do that, however, I did make a toile for a pair of pants quite a while ago now, and they mostly fit me. I literally have to adjust the height in the crotch height. That was all I needed to adjust, and it would have been fine because they were falling too short. Like, the waist was too low on them. I have a high waist, so I'm going to compare my pattern pieces for the front to those pattern pieces. Actually, I'm going to try them on again first. I did try them on a few months ago, and because I was going to fix them then, and they still fit me, but again, they're just too short in the waist. But I think I'm going to compare the front pattern pieces to that, just to see how much of an adjustment needs to be made. It'll just kind of give me an idea, but I'm definitely going to have to do a full belly adjustment on the front pattern pieces. So after I do that, then I will do another toile, try them on, see what other adjustments have to happen. That all said, I'm not going to be showing you the final shorts in this video. What I'm going to do instead is I am actually going to do a full separate video, which will also be related to making pants, but I'm going to use these shorts because less material. And I'm going to do a full video on all the adjustments I had to make with my body shape, with my belly, my menopause belly, in order to make the shorts fit me. Because once I get these shorts to fit me, because they are a very, very basic, very easy to sew, 4 pieces of fabric, well, actually 5 with the waistband, to sew together, super quick, and I'm going to use this as my sloper, my pants sloper, once I get the fit down. So that's going to be a full separate video. I'm going to start working on it now because I don't want this to linger again, because I know it's, right now when I'm filming this, it's July, but winter comes sooner than you want, and I need pants for winter. So that's going to be a full other video, and yeah, so we're going to end the video here. I'm going to have an outro after this. The full shorts reveal is going to happen once I get all the adjustments done, and that's going to be a whole separate video. Okay? But anyways, in the meantime, you have a shorts tutorial, and the fit issues are me. I just want to throw that in here. There are a lot of people that are going to do this pattern, and it's going to fit you perfectly. It's just that I have a huge belly. And this belly came when perimenopause started, and then got worse when I got into menopause, and it is a thing that many women go through. I'm not the only one. But anyway, so there's the shorts toile. Future video coming on how to fix my own personal fit issues. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, and if you got some use out of that video and you're going to make shorts, even if you're not going to make shorts, give me a thumbs up or like. Subscribe. Tell all your friends. And stay kitschy. I'll see you in the next video.